Welcome to Hawthorne High School, and the Ocean League Baseball League is on the air on Lawndale CityTV Sports. El Segundo coming in to play Hawthorne. El Segundo at the top of the heap at 4-0 in the Ocean League, 17-6 overall, and have won 3 in a row. The Hawthorne Cougars are 0-4 in Ocean League, 8-10-1 overall, and are 6-3 at home, and they have lost all 4 Ocean League games. The first pitch is in for a strike against Lars Nootbaar. Lars is headed for USC on a baseball scholarship. Charles Phelps is facing him. Nootbaar playing at shortstop for El Segundo and fouls this one off. So it's 0-2 to Nootbaar. And Nootbaar will be followed by Dylan McDonald, the second baseman, Jake Palmer in right field, and the first baseman, Noah Berggren. And here comes the 0-2 from Phelps to Nootbaar, and he lifts this one, just a dunker into left field, just past the infield grass. And boy, sometimes it's better to be lucky than good. And Lars Nootbaar leads things off with a single to left field. So Lars coming into today's action, and I'm sure leading off and hitting .408 on the year. That'll bring up Dylan McDonald. Dylan, the second baseman, and he is batting .333 with 5 RBI, no home runs, but he's got a couple of doubles under his belt. Curveball, and Nootbaar went off and is safe. Gets underneath the tag of second baseman Chris Phelps. So Nootbaar with a stolen base. So a man in scoring position right away for the El Segundo Eagles. And the pitch was a ball. And it's 1-0 to McDonald. Curveball, and that's in for a strike. So that's Nootbaar's third stolen base of the season. And as long as we have a chance, let's finish off the batting order for El Segundo. Number 9, Hunter Lewis, the third baseman, followed by Jackson Stone, then the designated hitter, Nick Saucedo, followed by Jason Kale, the catcher, and rounding everything up for the lineup is Nick Carsaboom, the center fielder. Good stop by Manny Huerta behind the plate, and it's 1-2 now to Dylan McDonald. Let's see if Phelps can take advantage of this count. Outside, 2-2. Let's go over the Hawthorne Cougars defense. From left field to right field is Brandon Brown. Center fielder is Jamal Evans. And boy, is he an addition. Both Brandon and Jamal, big additions for Jeff Hines Cougars. Here comes the 2-2, and that's hit off the hands. That's going to be a tough play for Sanchez, and all he can do is hold on to it and put it in his pocket. So an infield hit for Dylan McDonald, and that moves Nootbaar down to third base. But I tell you, both of those hits, they're not going to be in anybody's highlight reel, but they still count. Now comes Jake Palmer, the right fielder, to the plate for the Eagles. Palmer batting .372, and he has 15 RBI in the season. Phelps trying to keep the base runner at first, McDonald close, Max Riley over at first. Let's keep going over that Cougar defense. We introduced you to Brown and Evans in left field and center respectively. Cesar Escobar is in right. First pitch is in the dirt to Palmer, and it's 1-0. Defense from third to first is Daniel Sanchez, Andy Monterez, Chris Phelps, Max Riley at first. Behind the plate is Manny Huerta, and on the mound it's Charles Phelps. Jim Zambarelli's coaching over at third base for the Eagles. Derek Ernest is the first base coach for Stephen Eno, who is in his second year at the helm of the El Segundo Eagles. Fastball just misses the outside corner, and it's 2-0. A beautiful day here in Hawthorne. Boy, is it beautiful. And it'd be really hot out in the field except for the wind that comes on shore. Back in plenty of time is Mcdonald. And that wind creates a jet stream from home plate out into left field. So with these hard-hitting Eagles, we could see some of the Eagle balls fly out of here. Fastball is in for a strike. Huerta held it, and a little bit too long because Mcdonald had time to steal second base. So both runners in scoring position with nobody out. Home plate umpire today, Tom Fitzpatrick, and out of the bases, it's John Zello. Phelps, line drive into left field for a base hit. Here comes Nootbaar around to score. Mcdonald being waved home as well. Ball is cut off. Throw to second is not in time. Haven't seen a call yet from Zello. But the base runner Palmer standing there, so we'll say that he's safe. 2-0 in favor of the Eagles on the RBI single by Jake Palmer. That'll bring up Noah Bergen, the first baseman for El Segundo. Curveball, and that stays up. So Palmer now with 17 RBI on the season. He's having a heck of a year. Well, check that. He has, 17. Curveball, and that's fouled out of play. So it's 1-1 now to Berggren. Hitting .329. Talk about RBIs. Berggren must be leading not only the league, but the South Bay in RBI. He has 30. That's getting it done. Phelps looks back at the runner, and a breaking ball, ground ball, nicely picked up by Sanchez over to Riley for the out. So 1 out. 5-3 on the put out, and that'll bring up Hunter Lewis. Hunter playing third for the Eagles. Batting .328. He has 24 RBI. Well, they get a lot of guys on base. 2 home runs. Charles Phelps just trying to keep things as they are. Has a runner in scoring position. Curveball stays up. Hasn't been able to really find the strike zone yet with his breaking ball. Pickoff move, and base runner is back for the Eagles. Phelps with a 1-0 record. This is just his second start of the year. His ERA is 3.23 coming in. Fastball, and that's lined over the second baseman into right center field, and that could go all the way to the wall. Coming in to score is Jake Palmer on the RBI double by Hunter Lewis. So it's 3-0 Eagles. So that brings up Jackson Stone, the left fielder. And for Lewis, that's RBI number 25 on the season. Fastball in for a strike to Stone. Stone coming in batting .283, 7 RBI. Doesn't have a home run yet. Has 4 doubles. Phelps looks back at second. High and tight, swung on and missed, 0-2 to Stone. Hunter Lewis at second base after the RBI double. Well, the Eagles, you can tell they are well coached and disciplined. They're not hacking, they are hitting the ball. Nice strokes going right over the middle infielder. Stone has to get out of the way of that one. It's 1-2. So Phelps looking for his first strikeout. Just 2 on the season so far. Curveball, and that bends outside, 2-2. Hasn't given up a home run. So here comes the 2-2 to Stone. Nice stop by Huerta. So that loads up the count with 1 out. And Hunter Lewis getting his lead off at second base. Fastball right down the middle, and that's fouled away. Onto the track and bounces onto the football field. Which a week ago was loaded with carnival paraphernalia, rides and booths. Here comes the 3-2 again. That's outside, ball 4. First walk of the afternoon given up by Phelps. So runners at first and second. That brings up designated hitter Nick Saucedo. Nick hitting .286 with 13 RBI. Has a home run. Strike 1. Runners at first and second, 1 out, fastball in the dirt. Huerta with a nice stop. 1-1 to Saucedo. Designated hitting for William Mostert, the pitcher. Called a strike. Fitzpatrick had to think about that one. Excuse me. Pardon me. This Eagle team is loaded with seniors. 1 junior and 1 sophomore. Here's the pitch, and that's fouled back. And it remains 1-2. Saucedo's a senior, the only underclassman. Sophomore Jake Palmer, who had a 2-run single. And then on deck, Jason Kell is a junior. 2-2 now to Nick Saucedo. El Segundo, one of the premier baseball programs in Southern California. In the dirt, or just low, it wasn't in the dirt, but it loads up the count at 3-2. So the Eagles making Charles Phelps work on this sunny, breezy afternoon at Hawthorne. Fouled at the plate, remains 3-2. So of course we've all told you that Lars Nootbaar is headed for USC in a baseball scholarship, and he's hinted about trying to walk on the football team. Had a terrific year as a quarterback for the Eagles in football this season. And back underneath the tag is Stone. But some of the other kids that are leaving town, Hunter Lewis is headed for Lindenwood University in southeastern Illinois. Ball 4, and that loads up the bases. Second walk in a row, and Jeff Hines calls timeout. Wants to go talk to his pitcher, Charles Phelps. So Lindenwood University is, I would say, less than an hour from St. Louis. Beautiful country, but it's going to be a little bit warm and chewy out there once baseball season starts. And Hunter's going to have a lot of fun practicing indoors. Mostert and Berggren are both going to try to go up to Oregon and walk on to George Horton's team. Of course, Horton, many years the coach at Cal State Fullerton before being asked to go up to Oregon and revive the Ducks baseball program. Jason Cale stepping in with the bases loaded and only one out. Looks at a ball low. Here comes the 1-0 with the bases loaded. That looked on the inside corner. It is. Strike one, 1-1. Kell is batting .143 in 15 games, but he does have 2 RBI. 3 hits, so very productive in those 3 hits, and fouls this one back. It's 1-2. It's not that Phelps is pitching bad. He's thrown a lot of them. And he's had the count go his way many times. It's just these El Segundo hitters, and no surprise, they are very disciplined at the plate. And Cale, standing right on top of the plate, looks at strike 3, actually swings, goes around, says Tom Fitzpatrick. So 2 down. And first strikeout of the afternoon for Phelps. That'll bring up Nick Carsaboom, coming in batting .250 and playing in center field. Boy, that combination of Nootbaar to Carsaboom in football was certainly a thrill to watch. Fastball outside. Speaking of Nootbaar, he's on deck. So it's 3-0 in favor of the Eagles. Bases loaded and 2 outs. This one's hit high in the air to left field. That could be over Brandon Brown's head, and it is. And that's a ground rule double. So 2 runs come in on the ground rule double. And that makes it 5-0 in favor of the Eagles, and they have batted around. You see Brandon Brown playing in a little bit. Gave it a good chase, but hops over the wall. So at third base now is Saucedo. And Lars Nootbaar coming to bat for his second trip. And he hit a ball that just barely made it out of the infield, but then stole second for his 3rd stolen base of the year. Little breaking ball, bites off the outside corner for a strike. but a little parachute job into the outskirts of left field. It looks like a line drive in the scorebook, and this one's skied in the air to right field. Back goes Escobar to the wall, and this one's gone. So Lars Nootbaar didn't need the help from the wind. He just belted that one. And that's a 3-run home run to make it 8-0 in favor of the Eagles. So all Escobar could do was just turn around and watch it. So for Nootbaar, that's his 6th home run of the year and 20th RBI, or 20 now RBIs. Swing and a miss by, actually a foul tip by Mcdonald. So that clears the bases, and Nootbaar showing why he is headed to SC and the Pac-12. Fouled off again by Mcdonald, who had an infield hit a nubber off the hands to Sanchez, and a good fastball by Phelps. But it just died in this beautiful new infield grass. And this is cued foul. So Mcdonald out there hacking. And Mcdonald came around to score on the 2-run single by Jake Palmer. So Phelps can end it right here. 0-2 on Mcdonald, but nope, it's lined right up the middle for a base hit. So again, the Eagles, well, except for the hit by Nootbaar and maybe the ground rule double by Carseboom, have just hit the ball right back up the middle, and that's what a coach tells you to do. So it's 2 down. Here comes Jake Palmer, who had a 2-run single. Again, he just hit it up the middle. Line drive right over second baseman Chris Phelps' head. Fastball, and that's hit up in the air into center field. Jamal Evans giving it a ride. It gets caught up in the wind, and this is going to go off the chain link fence. Rounding third and coming home is Mcdonald, and it's 9-0 in favor of the Eagles. So that one got caught up in the wind. Palmer, the youngster on the team, just a sophomore, giving it a ride. Noah Berggren looks at strike one. He grounded out to Daniel Sanchez his first time up. We're still in the top of the first inning. Berggren is the 13th batter to lead things off here in the first inning. And that one hit him on the shoulder. So 2 on and 2 out for Hunter Lewis. Well, he smoked a double. Now Manny Huerta going out to talk to Carlos, or check that Charles Phelps. And Jeff Hines comes back out, and that's going to be it for Charles Phelps. So coming in is Jesse Garcia in the top of the first. with 2 out and 2 on. So Jesse, a tall, lanky right-hander, is a senior. And Jesse coming in with a 1-2 record and a 3.57 ERA. This is his 8th appearance. He's started 4 games. Has thrown 5 2/3 innings. 8 earned runs, 14 overall, given up 13 hits, struck out 9 and walked 5. Hasn't given up a home run and has faced 73 batters. Jesse Garcia. There may have been another change. I don't know. Well, Jesse wasn't in the lineup to begin things, so we'll see if Phelps stays in as a designated hitter or not. Cougars haven't been up yet. Still top of the first inning. So time back in for Hunter Lewis. With runners at first and second and 2 out. Fastball in for a strike. Nine runs on 8 hits for the Eagles. Curveball, and that bites off the inside corner. Strike 2, 0-2 real quick to Hunter Lewis. Now you can see Garcia on that first fastball. A lot of pitchers now are being taught to hold the ball differently, and it gives it a little bit of a backdoor slide back in. And this one's a breaking ball, stays inside, 1-2. So a couple of the pitchers on the Cougars have really relied on that little backdoor cut fastball. Here comes the 1-2, and that one's down the middle. A ground ball to Monterez at short. Long throw across, and Huerta can't dig it out. So man caught at second and diving back in and called out. And that would be Noah Berggren, because Jake Palmer was already at third base. So the play 2-4, and that's going to do it as Hunter Lewis was on first base on the throwing error by the shortstop Andy Monterez. So 9 runs on 8 hits and 2 left. We go to the bottom of the first with the Cougars coming up to bat against Willem Mostert. Back here at Hawthorne High School, first pitch from Willem Mostert is in for a strike to Chris Phelps, and he'll be followed by Daniel Sanchez, Brandon Brown, Max Riley. This one's fouled off, 0-2. Andy Monterez, Jamal Evans, Cesar Escobar, and Manny Huerta. So Willem Mostert had a nice pregame rest. Sidearm fastball way outside. Phelps fouls this one back. Chris batting .377 with 4 RBI, has a triple and a double. and swings and misses on this one. Strike 3. One batter, one out for Mostert. And that'll bring up Daniel Sanchez, coming in batting .259. He has 11 RBI on the season. Breaking ball settles in for a strike. Mostert likes to obviously go over the top, sidearm, and 3/4, so that will give you 3 different looks right there with the fastball and the breaking ball. So it's 1-2 now, or 0-2 to Sanchez. This one's lined into center field and drops in for a base hit. Good piece of hitting by Sanchez to stick with that backdoor cut fastball. And that'll bring up Brandon Brown. Brandon, batting .345, has 10 RBI, 4 doubles, and 2 triples. And he is exciting as there is. He and Jamal Brown, great speed additions to the Cougars. Mostert throwing back, and Noah Berggren with the tag. We'll go over the Eagles' defense, as that one's outside. 1-0 to Brown. From left to right in the Eagle outfield, it's Jackson Stone, Nick Carsaboom, and Jake Palmer. This one is fouled at the plate, so it's 1-1. From third base to first base, Hunter Lewis, Lars Nootbaar, Dylan McDonald, and Noah Berggren. Behind the plate, Jason Kale. And on the mound is Willem Mostert. Little off-speed pitch was low. Now the way he uncoils, I'm just trying to figure out, there's an old school pitcher. Is it Don McMahon? That one's outside. I don't think McMahon got that low. He was a pitcher for the Giants. This one's fouled off. But Don McMahon pitched for the Giants. And then after his playing days, it's 3-2 now, to Brandon Brown. This one's grounded into the hole between second and first, and McDonald gets the easy out. 4-3 on the putout, and Daniel Sanchez moves over to second. And Don McMahon pitched for the Giants for many years, was a thorn in the side, obviously, of the Dodgers. Reminded of the Dodgers because El Segundo's uniforms and colors look just like those of the Dodgers. As Max Riley steps in. But McMahon went on to be an official, high school and college official, 1-0 to Riley, and was one of the most respected then Pac-10 officials in football and basketball. Always had a good story too. Missed Don McMahon, lived in Orange. Here's the pitch, and that little backdoor cutter finds the outside corner, 1-1. The only part of the delivery that Mostert doesn't remind me of McMahon, he used to turn his glove open-faced toward home plate just before he delivered it. 1-2. So Max Riley trying to keep it going with 2 down and a man in scoring position for the Cougars. There goes the runner. This one's off the hands, and this one, look out, got in a rundown, is Sanchez, and trying to make the tag is Kale, and falling down is Sanchez, and making the out to end the inning. So Max Riley is on a fielder's choice, but being cut down at third base is Daniel Sanchez. And we're going to call that 6-5-2 on the putout. And the first inning is in the books. And the El Segundo Eagles come back out to face Jesse Garcia. Back at Hawthorne High School, it's Jackson Stone, Nick Saucedo, and Jason Kale to face Jesse Garcia. Fastball in for a strike. "14 Eagles came to bat against 2 Hawthorne pitchers, Charles Phelps, the starter, and Jesse Garcia. Curveball bounces away. It's 1-1. Here's Garcia's pitch, and that eludes Huerta. 2-1. So Garcia pitched to one hitter, number 14, in the top of the first inning. That was Hunter Lewis, who was on an error. 3-1 now to Stone. But Noah Bergman was out leaning too far off second. Inside. So leadoff man is on. First walk given up by Jesse Garcia. So 51 pitches thrown by 2 pitchers. "47 pitches thrown by Phelps. Saucedo looks at strike one. He walked and came around to score back in the first inning. Wide open stance. Ball is in the dirt. 1-1. Fastball and the high chopper to shortstop, and Monterez can't handle it. So no outs and 2 on without the benefit of a hit. Second error on Andy of the game. And that'll bring up Jason Kale. Jason struck out back in the first inning. Garcia in the stretch, looks back at the runners. Fastball low. So Phelps, Charles Phelps, went 2/3 of an inning, gave up 9 runs on 8 hits, struck out 1 and walked 2, hit a batter, and threw 47 pitches. Curveball in for a strike. Cougars infield at double play depth, way outside, and no chance for Huerta to throw down to third. And by that time, Jackson Stone is at second, and Nick Saucedo, or check that, at third, and Saucedo at second on the wild pitch. So it's 3-1 to Kale. Look out. Just got out of the way of that one, and it's ball 4. That'll bring up Nick Carsaboom. Curveball. Carsaboom waited on it. That's could dissect the Bermuda Triangle. It does. And everybody's going to move up 90 feet. That makes it 10-0 on the bloop single by Carsaboom. So Saucedo at third, Kale at second, and over at first base is Carsaboom with 3 RBI on the day. Had a booming ground rule double, and Noosbar looks at a ball 1 in his third at bat already. So Carsaboom with 3 RBI today, now with 7 on the season. Fastball swung on a missed. Nootbaar not making any contact with it, but everybody stays at their base. Again, Jim Zambarelli coaching over at third, Derek Ernest at first, head coach Steve Eno. Here comes the 1-1, and look out. Did that hit him? Yes, it did. So coming in is Saucedo, and that makes it 11-0. An RBI the hard way for Nootbaar. And only 1 hit in 5 batters. So Kale moves over to third base, Carsaboom up to second, and Nootbaar over at first. And Dylan McDonald chatting with Tom Fitzpatrick, the head coach, and Jeff Hines, the head coach of Hawthorne, talking to his Cougars of the infield. So Garcia walked the first batter, and then Andy Monterez made an error, couldn't find the handle on the ball, then another walk, a base hit, and a hit batsman. That's where we are. And McDonald had to turn away from that one, 1-0. It's already 2 for 2. An infield single and a sharp single into center field, and 2 runs scored. Inside. 2-0. In for a strike. Bit off the lower outside corner. So now it's 2-1 to Dylan McDonald with the bases loaded and nobody out. This one's queued up the line. It's going to stay fair. Stepping on the bag is Riley, but that gets the run home. So Kell spikes the plate and makes it 12-0 Eagles on the RBI ground out by Dylan McDonald. 3 unassisted and an RBI. Nootbaar moves up to second, and over to third is Carsaboom. And Jake Palmer steps in. He has 3 RBI in the day and 2 at-bats. A single and a double to center field. Looks at ball 1. Fastball stays up, 2-0. So Palmer, again, just the youngster on this team, the sophomore. So you know he got skills if he's out there as a sophomore on this El Segundo team. A high strike called on a fastball, and it's 2-1. Wind is really starting to blow now, and that one's way outside, 3-1. So that jet stream has been created, that's for sure. And that's fouled off. It goes up through the screen and lands on the roof across the street. The screen over home plates behind the backstop goes out over home plate pretty far, but it does have its holes. Strike 3 called on Jake Palmer. So Garcia snuck one on the inside part of the plate at the knees, and down goes Palmer. So 1 down. That brings up Noah Berggren. Berggren is 0 for 2. Good stop by Huerta on that breaking ball. Noah bounced out to third and then was hit by a pitch, all in the first inning. A high fastball and hit high in the air to right field. Over for it as Escobar puts it away, and that'll do it. That's right, that's 3 outs now. 1, 2, 3 on those, the last 3 batters. So a fly out to right field, and that'll do it for the Eagles. They send 8 men up to the plate this time, score 3 more runs, and it's 12-0 in favor of El Segundo. Back here at Hawthorne High School, and Jesse Garcia batting for himself. Charles Phelps was there, but he only lasted 2/3 of an inning. Better be ready, because Willem Mostert comes to play. I tell you, he doesn't mess around. 1-2 already. I don't even think we've had a minute gone by here in the bottom of the second inning. Baseball's supposed to be a little slow game, but not Mozart. Or, well, I guess he is kind of painting a Mozart right now, Mostert. And this one's lined into left field. Is it caught? Nope, he missed it. That's Carsaboom missed it. And hitting second, trying to go to third is Garcia. And he is held up there with a leadoff triple. But boy, Nick Carsaboom gave it a try. Almost came up with it. So good backup by Jackson Stone after the diving attempt by Nick Carsaboom. So a leadoff triple on a 3-2 pitch by Garcia. And this one's bounced down the third baseline, but it's foul by Andy Monterez. Tough day for Andy. Couple of errors on the infield for him. Trying to make up for it now. Andy came in batting .341 and pops this one up. Garcia tagging, but I don't think he's going to go, and the short fly ball caught by Jackson Stone. So that'll bring up Jamal Evans. Evans batting .312, has 15 RBI. Also has a home run. and 6 doubles. Jamal Evans. There's that little backdoor cut fastball in for a strike. So Jamal is hoping that wind might kick up a little bit and get in that jet stream, break that goose egg. Outside, 1-1. Here comes the breeze blowing from home to third base. Way outside. So Jason Cale's reaction time has to be fast, and it has to be on his toes. Took something off of it, finds the outside corner for strike 2. I tell you, Major League Baseball would love Willem Mostert right now because they have that in-between pitch clock. Inside, but he went around, and Evans goes down swinging. So 2 strikeouts for Mostert, and that'll bring up Cesar Escobar. Escobar batting .148, looks at ball 1. Has 4 hits, but also has 4 RBIs and 4 runs scored. Mostert. This one's grounded up the first baseline. It's picked up by Berggren, and that'll do it. So they strand the leadoff triple, wasted, and strand Garcia over at third base. 3 unassisted on the putout. And Mostert gets out of a mini jam after giving up the leadoff triple to Jesse Garcia. The score remains 12-0. It'll be Hunter Lewis, Jackson Stone, and Nick Saucedo, the designated hitter, to face Jesse Garcia, who came on in the top of the first. And we have a new designated hitter, number 24. And that's Jason Walls. First pitch from Garcia is low and away. So Walls is a senior. 2-2. Check that, 2-0. Curveball that stays up. In a game like today, might see a lot of substitutions by El Segundo. And this one hits the outside corner, 3-1. Glad you joined us on Lawndale CityTV Sports. Garcia pitching out of the stretch, even though this is the leadoff hitter in this ball 4. So leadoff walk again in this inning. Third walk given up by Garcia, who did all he could, led off with a triple in the bottom of the second, but was stranded there. Now Jackson Stone steps in. And turns on this one and wraps it into left field for a base hit. So after 2 walks and 2 runs scored, Stone hits it into left field for a base hit, and that sends Jackson Walsh to second base. We have another replacement coming up. As soon as we can see his number, we'll let you know who it is. Number 17. And number 17 is not on our roster. Not even on the roster that we were given by the coaching staff. Okay, that's always good. So we'll just call him good old number 17. How about that? We'll find out who it is in between innings for you, and then find out where he will play. He's in Nick Saucedo's spot, the designated hitter, so maybe he'll still be the designated hitter. Fouls this one off. It's 1-1. 1-2. With runners at first and second. Curveball. Nice bit of hitting. And out a nice play, nice double play. Call it 4-3 as Jackson Walls was tagged out by Chris Phelps. He was spun around and then threw it to Max Riley for the double play. So 4-3 unassisted. And now we have another replacement. This is number 21, Brandon Casillas. Curveball. That's stayed away. So 21 on his back, Brandon Casillas. So it's 1-1 now. So we'll see if he takes over for Jason Kale, who struck out and walked. This one's fouled at the plate. So Brendan also well, check that. He's a freshman catcher, so would imagine he'd be taking over for Jason Kale behind the plate. Curveball, and that's bounced by up to Monterez, or throws on the run, and a nice play by Andy Monterez to get the quick Brandon Casillas, and that strands Carsaboom at third. So 6-3 on the putout. No runs on a hit and a man left. Check that. That was Jackson Walsh was stranded at third. As we'll go to the bottom of the third. And the score is 12-0. Back here at Hawthorne High School, and the first pitch to Manny Huertas hit into center field and tracked down by Nick Carsaboom. Alberto Garcia is the new pitcher for El Segundo. Brandon Casillas pinch hit for Jason Kell and remains in at catcher. And moving over to third base is Jackson Stone. So I would imagine if we can get a camera shot on the left fielder to find out if that's Jackson Walsh. In for a strike. Fastball, and that's outside. 2-1. So Jackson Walsh does move out to left field. I checked that. Not Jackson, but where did he go? Yeah, Jackson Walsh. Jackson Stone, Jackson Walsh. So Chris Phelps has the count loaded at 3-2. This one's lifted to Walls and puts it away in the Sunfield. So Phelps trying to go the other way. Was slicing, but Walls was there to put it away. So Jackson Walls in left field, and Hunter Lewis is out of the game at third base. Jackson Stone moves from left field to third base, and Brandon Casillas takes over for Jason Cale as Daniel Sanchez looks at strike one. And Alberto Garcia is in for William Mostert. 1-1 now to Sanchez, who had a base hit and rounded third a little bit too much and ended up in a rundown. One and two now to Sanchez. Ground ball to short, picked up by Nootbaar. A long throw, picked off by Bergeron, and 1-2-3 go the Cougars. 6-3 on the putout, and Garcia picks up where Mostert left off, and the shutout continues. Top of the fourth we go. It'll be Nick Carsaboom, then the top of the order, Lars Nootbaar and Dylan Mcdonald, to face Jesse Garcia in his fourth inning of work. Fastball way outside. So Willem Mostert, starter for the Eagles, goes 2 innings, gives up no runs on 2 hits, and strikes out 2, and threw 54 pitches. And Carsaboom grounds it on a hop to Sanchez, throws it across to Riley for the out. So 5-3 on the putout, and now Carsaboom is 2 for 3. Has a ground rule double and 2 runs batted in, and a single to center field. And here comes Nootbaar. Nootbaar with a base hit to lead off the game, then stole second, his third stolen base of the year. Came around to score on Jake Palmer's hit. Fastball inside. Then in his second at bat of the inning, he smoked an 0-1 pitch for his 6th home run of the year. A 3-run home run. 2-0 to Nootbaar. It's been fun to watch him and his brother grow up and improve and move on. So it's 3-0 now to Nootbaar. And this is not Nootbaar. Base hit, though, at any rate, to center field. This is a pinch hitter, and that's Spencer Long, who will probably take over for Nootbaar. Thought he had a different build than Lars. So Spencer, just a sophomore, gets a base hit. And now we have a new second baseman. This is number 6. And someone else from the JV team coming. Manny Huerta trying to catch Long napping. So we'll have to find out who Mr. number 6 is, just like we have to find out who Mr. number 17 is for the Eagles. In for a strike. So it's 1-1 to Dylan McDonald's replacement, and that's Stevie Aldana. Pitch is in the dirt. Huerta with a nice stop. 2-1. Garcia into the stretch, looks back at Long. Foul back. So 2-2. So Long's been in 18 games. He's at first base now, batting .250. And Aldana, this might be his first at bat of the season. Curveball, bends in, strike 3 called. Welcome to the varsity, Stevie. So second strikeout for Garcia, and that'll bring up Jake Palmer. Palmer came in batting .371 with 15 RBI, but has 3 RBI on the day. Fastball in for a strike. Jake is 2 for 3. Had a double and a single, both to center field. And this one's down the line. This one could be trouble, and that falls in front of Brandon Brown and goes all the way to the wall. Coming over to third base is Long, being held up by Zambarelli on the booming double by Jake Palmer going the other way. Well, we got 2 more years to watch this kid, including this one. So now we have another replacement, Joey Garza. Look out. Ball 1 to Garza. Takes over for Noah Berggren at first base. This one's fouled off. 1-1. So 1 down and 2 on. Spencer Long is at third, being chased over there by Jake Palmer's second double of the afternoon. That one stays low. 2-1. On deck is Jackson Walls. Fastball, and that's fouled back. "12 runs on 12 hits for the Eagles, and no runs on 2 hits for the Cougars." Fastball, and that's sent the other way into left field for a base hit. Here comes Long, and being held up at third is Jake Palmer. RBI single for Joey Garcia. So Jackson Walls came on in the third inning as a pinch hitter. He walked and was stranded at third. Looks at ball 1. So he's officially 0 for 1. Now playing left field for the Eagles. Fastball, and that's belted into center field for a base hit. Another run comes in, and it's 14-0. Moving up to second is Garza. That'll bring up Jackson Stone, who started out in left and is now playing at third. Curveball, and that bends in for a strike. Jackson's 1 for 1, but he's been on base 3 times. 2 walks and 2 runs scored. Fastball stays up. Curveball, and that settles in for a strike. 1-2 to Stone. Over the top fastball that stays inside, and Jackson Stone giving it the little olay as it goes underneath his elbows. Curveball, and that's just tapped out in front of the plate. Garcia on it in a hurry, throws over to Riley, and that'll do it. Nice play by Garcia to get on it like a cat on a mouse and throw out the speedy Jackson Stone. But 2 runs still come across on 4 more hits, and it's 14-0 Eagles over the Cougars. It'll be Brandon Brown, Max Riley, and Jesse Garcia to face Alberto Garcia in his 2nd inning of work. Fastball outside. So Willem Mostert went 2 innings, gave up 2 hits, no runs, and struck out a couple, and threw 54 pitches, and a nice off-speed pitch by Garcia and a swing and a miss by Brown. Brown's 0 for 1, bounced out to second base his only time up. Looks at a strike. This one is reached for, and Brandon Brown's a speedy guy, and he beats it out. So that one was reached for and bounced into this thick grass. And a good piece of running by Brandon Brown to lead off with a hit. Max Riley stepping in. I believe Stevie Aldana is playing over at second base now. Aldana taking over for Mcdonald. That's a strike. Back in the 4th inning and struck out looking on a beautiful breaking ball by Jesse Garcia. This one sent into right field and lined in for a base hit. Right in front of Jake Palmer, and that'll bring up Jesse Garcia. So for the first time today, the Cougars have a couple runners on and 2 consecutive hits. Palmer had a leadoff triple back in the 2nd inning and was stranded there and fouls this one off. The jack of all trades in the baseball diamond is Jesse Garcia, and that's just what Jeff Hines loves. Strike 2. Somebody that can do a little bit of everything and can run and can hit. Breaking ball way outside. That's 1-2. Runners at first and second. Nobody out for the Cougars. Bottom of the 4th inning. Trying to crack a goose egg. Remains 1-2. And down to second base. Oh, they got him. He looked like Brandon Brown got in underneath the tag, but John Zello called him out. Actually, he looked like he was going to call him safe. But 2-5 caught stealing. And it's 1 down now. Double play now in order for the Eagles. It's sent into the air into left field. The wind caught that one, and back goes Waltz to the wall and makes the catch. So a terrific catch by Jackson Walls going to the wall, especially with the sun blaring down at his eyes. That'll bring up Andy Monterez. So Garcia gave it a ride, and just the way the Cardinals' luck is going, the wind died down as soon as Garcia made contact with the ball. Just a little bit of wind would have gotten that over the wall. 0-1, or 1-0, I should say, to Monterez, who's 0 for 1. He flied out to left field in the 2nd inning when Jackson Stone was camped out there. Just a little outside. 2-0. This one's bounced up the third baseline, scooped up by Stone, throws across. Nice pick and throw by Jackson Stone. So 5-3 on the putout, and that ends the threat. First 2 batters got on for the Cougars, but they couldn't do anything with it. And we'll go to the top of the 5th. Eagles on top. The mystery man, number 17, is at bat now, facing Cesar Escobar, and Escobar throws it over Frankie Martinez's head. So Frankie must have forgot his road uniform because he's wearing number 17. Usually, he just told me before the inning started that he wears 15. So Cesar Escobar coming in from right field to pitch, and then Jesse Garcia is out in right field. Over the top fastball. That's got to be tough to come in, especially when you've been playing long toss all day and now you've got to throw it 60 feet 6 inches to your catcher. A lot lower and a lot harder. That's why those throws are up, and Martinez is on with a walk. So Jesse Garcia goes 3 1/3 innings through 65 pitches. And stepping in now is Brandon Casillas. Now Escobar's finding his zone. 0-1. Just low, 1-1 to Walls. Or check that, Casillas. Way up high again, and it's 2-1. Cesar Escobar kicks and deals, and that's up high. 3-1. Garcia went 3 1/3, gave up 5 runs on 6 hits, struck out 2, walked 3, hit 2, and threw 65 pitches. And this one's up high again. So Escobar coming in has an 0-1 record and a 5.25 ERA. This is his 4th appearance in relief. Has 4 strikeouts and 3 walks as he bounces in a fastball. Has given up 1 extra base hit, a double. As Nick Carsaboom steps in, he's gone all the way. The center fielder looks at a ball up high. So Cesar just needs to get that release point corrected and get that ball to slide down about a foot or so. 2-1, nobody out. 2 walks to lead off the inning. And that ball's way up high, 3-0. Carsaboom is 2 for 3 on the day. And gets that one down into a good enough zone that Carsaboom took a hack at it. Nick had a ground rule double to left field back in the first inning to score 2 runs, then had a single back in the second. Then grounded to third base. This one's low, and Escobar walks the bases loaded. That'll bring up the top of the order, and Spencer Long, who took over in the top of the 4th inning for Lars Nootbaar at shortstop. Escobar again keeps that ball up high, and Jeff Hines may make a change right here, or just maybe just wants to talk to Escobar, asking him where his release point is. I'm sure that he would just love to have Escobar have some success, so Hines has some variety, no pun intended, in his relief corps. Tom Fitzpatrick coming out to break things up and get the game back going. So Nootbaar with the big hit of the day, a 3-run home run in the top of the first inning, his 6th of the year. There's the release point. And sent into center field, Jamal Evans with a throw, and a nice throw. It goes over the head of Huerta, but staying at third base is Martinez. So Jamal Evans fighting the wind and the sun to make the first out of the inning, and that'll bring up Stevie Aldana. Stevie was a pinch hitter back in the 4th inning when he struck out looking on a beauty of a breaking ball by Garcia. And now Escobar goes back to the old habit. Charles Phelps was the starter for the Cougars, but only lasted 2/3 of an inning. This one's over the head of Stevie, 2-0. Jesse Garcia went 3 1/3. Tried to keep a cap on the offense, but gave up 5 runs on 6 hits. And now Cesar Escobar. That one's low, 3-0. Nowhere to put him. Cougars looking for a ground ball in the infield. In for a strike. Aldana taking all the way. It's now 3-2. Boy, El Segundo's baseball team and all their teams, boy, they really travel their fans well. This one's fouled back. Still 3-2 to Aldana. And the fans showed up here today from El Segundo. Good to see everybody out here. Bases loaded, 1 out. Stevie Aldana waiting for Escobar's pitch outside. An easy RBI for Aldana. That makes it 15-0. As Martinez scores, coming down to third base is Casillas, and over to second is Carsaboom. That brings up Jake Palmer. Still 1 down. And that's Palmer's replacement. Stepping on third is Sanchez to get the force out on Carsaboom, so 5 unassisted. Coming in to score is Casillas to make it 16-0. Second base is Aldana, and over at first on the fielder's choice is number 35. And that's Michael Thompson. So that'll bring up Joey Garza, who came in as a pinch hitter in the top of the 4th and singled the other way to left field. And now Escobar is getting the ball down a little bit. But it's still up and away, 1-0. Runner calls time, and Tom Fitzpatrick, looking out for the safety of all the players, tells the Eagles to get back in their nest. So 2 on, 2 out. Garza grounds it to first base. Riley takes it himself and steps on the bag. So 3 unassisted on the putout, but 2 more runs are in the books for the El Segundo Eagles. And it's 16-0 as we go to the bottom of the 5th. Back here in Hawthorne High School, the new pitcher, and it is Wyatt Boyce, the closer. Also a star on the football team. I believe he was a tight end. Another one of those receivers for Lars Nootbaar. And he's got that big fastball for a closer. But this one's up and away to Jamal Evans. Then it'll be Cesar Escobar. And that off-speed pitch catches the corner, strike 1. Followed by Manny Huerta. Up high, 2-1. This is grounded off the glove of Joyce. And Joyce fires over to first, and that was a wild throw and gets by the first baseman. So we're going to call that an infield hit. I think Evans would have beat the throw anyway. So Jake Palmer is now at first base. And we'll have to find out who's playing right field now for El Segundo's Eagles. So an infield hit off of the glove of Wyatt Boyce, and the pitch in the dirt to Cesar Escobar, now pitching, and it's 1-0 to him. Fastball is low. That looked like it was on the inside corner. So it's 2-0 now to Escobar. Matty started out playing right field and is now pitching and fouls this one off. A fastball in on the hands. 2-1. Escobar with 4 RBI on the season. That one's way overthrown, and a good save by the youngster Brandon Casillas. 3-1. Jamal Evans is 1 out of 2 on the year in stolen bases. This one's fouled back. So coaching over at third base is Jeff Hines. Oscar Robles coaching over at first base. Haven't had a chance to introduce them yet. And bench coach Chris Robles. Fastball fouled back, 3-2. Here comes Joyce's pitch, and that gets by the catcher Casillas, but it's ball 4 anyway. So Joyce appears to be a bit wild. That brings up Manny Huerta, and Joyce is really pitching or overthrowing the ball so far, coming in the 5th inning. Boyce, no record, 3 appearances, no saves. This one's in the dirt again. Casillas can't find it, but the Cougars stay where they are. Boyce with 1 strikeout and 6 walks, but already has 1 walk given up today, so 7 on the season. Throwing it outside again, but it's called a strike. 2-1 to Manny Huerta. Swing and a miss. Foul tipped into the glove of Casillas, and it's 2-2. So Cougars looking for a break. That bounces. There's a break. Runners advance on the wild pitch. Down to third base goes Evans, and to second base goes Escobar. And it's a full count now to Huerta. Joyce gets Huerta to swing and miss. First strikeout of the afternoon and second on the season for Boyce. That brings up the top of the order, and Chris Phelps, who's 0 for 2, struck out in the first, just outside, ball 1, and flew out to left field on a nice running catch by Jackson Walls. Anything now is a nice catch because that ball goes right up into the sun. And there's another pitch that goes to the backstop, but no one advancing. That one's up, and 3-0 now to Chris Phelps. Looks down at Jeff Hines. I'm sure he's telling him to take this pitch. And does. Hits the outside corner, 3-1. Daniel Sanchez would be next. Or is next. Fastball, and that's fouled out of play and into the street. So it's 3-2. So Joyce taking a little bit off of it and finding the strike zone instead of rearing back and trying to muscle it. And this one's bounced up the third baseline, but foul. Michael Thompson is out in right field for Jake Palmer, who's now at first. Fastball, and that's low. So that loads the bases for the Cougars with 1 out for Daniel Sanchez. Goes to the backstop, but not really far away enough for somebody to come in and score. And it's just a wild ball. Up and away, 2-0. So Sanchez, just a freshman, now has an opportunity to be the big man on campus, but swings and misses a ball up and outside. Sanchez came in today hitting .259, but has 11 RBIs and 7 hits, looking for his first extra base hit, and a good stop by Casillas. It's 3-1. Well, he can get an RBI with a walk. In the dirt, Casillas doing a terrific job there, sacrificing the body, but it's ball 4 anyway. So he gets the RBI the easy way as Jamal Evans comes in to score. Down to third base is Escobar, and to second goes Chris Phelps. So all 3 on the walk. A infield hit by Jamal Evans started things off. And now Wyatt Joyce is getting a talking to by one of the coaches. And that breaks the goose egg. 16-1. That brings up Brandon Brown. Swings and misses through a Joyce fastball. On the outside corner, and Joyce took something off of it. That was a beauty of a pitch. 0-2. Fouled off. Remains 0-2 to Brandon Brown. Who is 1 for 2 on the day. Fouls it again. Hanging in tough. Brandon on a 2-2 count hit a ground ball that just eluded the second baseman, and he got on, and that one just eludes his helmet. 1-2. Fouls that fastball back. So Brown with one down and the bases loaded, and 1 run in for the Cougars, looking to get something done. Joyce's pitch and a ground ball to second base. A nice big hop, and it gets away from Aldana, and safe at first base is Brandon Brown on the error by Aldana. Coming in to score is Escobar to make it 16-2. And Chris Phelps goes to third base, Sanchez to second, and Brandon Brown on the error is at first for Max Riley. So Joyce pitches up high, took a little off of that one. Seems like he has more success with that one. He's kind of like a young Nolan Ryan. When he would throw the fastball early in his career, he didn't know where it was going. There's the high hard one, swung on and missed. But I think Mr. Ryan did pretty okay for himself. Fastball right down the middle, had a little bit of movement on it, and that was a beauty. So 1-2 to Riley, who is 1 for 2, had a base hit back in the 4th inning, was on in a fielder's choice back in the 1st, and fouls this one. Is it going to stay in? It does, barely. But Jake Palmer couldn't catch up with it. It remains 1-2. So Brandon Brown really fought off Wyatt's pitches, and this one's poked the other way and falls in for a base hit, and everybody's going to move up 90 feet on the RBI single by Max Riley. A great piece of hitting by Riley just to reach out and touch it into right field. So that's the second hit of the inning. Coming in to score is Phelps. Down to third base is Sanchez, and over to second moves Brandon Brown. So still 1 out. And we have a pitching change as Boyce will come out of the ball game. Nick Saucedo, the designated hitter who was pinch hit for, is now pitching for the Eagles. So even though 3 runs have come in to make it a 16-3 lead, the Eagles have no patience. So they get Boyce out of there, who goes a third of an inning. Gives up 3 runs so far, but he's also responsible for the 3 Cougars on base. So we'll check on Saucedo's numbers. And Nick, in his 4th appearance, no record, has 1 save, but has an ERA of 7.87. Saucedo with 2 strikeouts and 2 walks. First Cougar he'll face is Jesse Garcia. Garcia didn't start, but did take over the pitching duties after Chris Phelps only went 2/3 of an inning. And looks at strike 1 from Saucedo. Inside, 1-1. But Garcia stayed in the game after he was relieved by Cesar Escobar and went and traded places with him out in right field. Inside corner. 1-2 now to Garcia. Low, now 2-2. Looks like Saucedo has a bit more control than Wyatt Boyce, excuse me. This one's hit foul. Remains 2-2. Now it's 3-2. So the books are still open on Boyce. The 3 Cougars on base are his responsibility, and strike 3 called. So first batter and first strikeout for Saucedo. And this is the 9th Cougar to come to the plate, Andy Monterez. Low and away for ball 1. Andy's 0 for 2, flew out to left and bounced to third. That one stays up, 2-0. So 2 down. And swing and a miss through a fastball. 2-1 now to Monterez with 2 down, bases loaded. Right down the inside part of the plate, strike 2. So 2-2. This Saucedo coming on to try to put the fire out that the Cougars have lit on the bases. This one's lined into left field, and that falls in front of Waltz. 1 run comes in to make it 16-4. Daniel Sanchez spiking the plate. Brandon Brown moves over to third. Over to second is Riley on the RBI single by Monterez. And now the Cougars have batted around, and that brings up Jamal Evans. Looks at strike 1. So bases remain loaded with 2 outs. This one bites the corner, and Evans doesn't like that call. But Tom Fitzpatrick's been calling that strike pretty much all day. Swings and misses, and down goes Evans. So Saucedo really set up Evans, knew that he had him after he got him upset with the strike 2, and then Evans swung and missed that pitch that was outside. And we're going to check and see if we're going to continue on with the game. It doesn't appear that we are. And that's the ball game. The 10-run rule after 5 innings is in effect. So the final score 16-4 in favor of El Segundo. 16 runs on 14 hits and 1 error for the Eagles. 4 runs. Let's total up the hits. Not too many in that inning. On 2 hits in that inning. There were 4 runs on 2 hits in the inning. So 4 runs on 6 hits total for the Eagles, and they committed 2 errors. The winning pitcher is Willem Mossert, and the losing pitcher is Charles Phelps. Our player of the ball game is Jesse Garcia, who came on and really quenched the fire, even though he gave up 5 runs, did the job that Jeff Hines asked him to do and hold down this very potent Eagle offense, and did, going 3 1/3, giving up 5 runs on 6 hits and striking out 2, walking 3 and hitting 2, but really did a terrific job coming in for starter Charles Phelps, who only lasted 2/3 of an inning. When the Eagles came in and batted around and scored 9 runs on 8 hits. Well, for the Eagles, they're still in the top of the Ocean baseball standings at 5-0 and improved to 18-6 overall, and have now won 4 in a row. For Hawthorne, their home record falls to 6-4. Their Ocean baseball standings league record falls to 0-4, or check that 0-5, and they fall to 8-11-1 overall, and have lost 4 in a row. And El Segundo is 8-2 on the road. Well, for Tom Strickfaden and the terrific 3-time Star Award-winning crew for CityTV, Lawndale CityTV Sports Crew, I'm Lou Stowers telling you the final score from Hawthorne High School. El Segundo 16-4 over Hawthorne. Until next time, so long.